You think you know these leaders of the free world, but your history books are heavily airbrushed. Washington's teeth were wooden, but pulled from people, while Lincoln's guard was getting drunk next door. From fatal negligence to dark secrets, prepare to see the side of the White House never told.
Forget the wooden teeth myth. George Washington's actual smile was way more disturbing. By the time he was inaugurated, the father of America had exactly one natural tooth left. His solution, dentures made of gold, hippo ivory, and real human teeth. But where did those teeth come from? Not a donor list. His own ledgers prove he paid his enslaved workers a few shillings to harvest their healthy teeth. The very man fighting for liberty was literally using his people as spare parts. So next time you see that stoic face on the dollar bill, remember the price of that smile. Forget the cherry tree. George Washington wasn't just a noble general, he was America's biggest booze king. After the war, he didn't just retire. He launched a massive industrial whiskey empire at Mount Vernon. By 1799, his factory was pumping out 11,000 gallons of rye a year. That's 5 massive copper stills running nonstop. But he wasn't alone. 6 enslaved people did the backbreaking labor while Washington tracked every cent. He micromanaged the mash bills, the yields, and the supply chains like a modern-day CEO. The father of his country, more like the founding father of big business. He didn't just lead the revolution, he monetized it. So next time you hold a dollar, remember, it started with a massive side hustle in booze. Every hero portrait of George Washington has a glitch. Look at the man standing in the dark. Meet Billy Lee. For 8 brutal years of war, he was Washington's shadow, hunter, and closest confidant. While Washington shouted, "Liberty or death," Billy was the one cleaning his guns and holding the reins. Billy was the Army's best rider, yet in the eyes of the law, he was just equipment. He chose to stay. He bet his life on the promise of the man he served. The payoff? Washington freed him, but only after Washington didn't need him anymore, in his will. America's first hero won the world's freedom, but he kept his best friend's liberty locked in a desk drawer until the end. In 1835, Washington, D.C. almost burned to the ground. The target, not a prison or a fort, an oyster bar. Beverly Snow was a free black man who owned the city's trendiest spot. White politicians loved his food. White laborers, they hated his success. A rumor started that Snow insulted the wives of white mechanics. It was the perfect excuse for a mob to cancel his business permanently. But they didn't stop at the restaurant. They torched black schools and churches. They weren't fighting for freedom. They were fighting for status. This wasn't about the North versus the South. This was about white men who couldn't stand a free man owning a better business than them. Snow escaped to Canada, but D.C. was forever changed. The capital's first major riot wasn't about chains. It was about envy. America's capital, where you could be free, but you'd better not be too successful. The Washington Monument isn't actually white. It's a 555-foot tall lie with a giant tan line. Look at the 150-foot mark. The stone suddenly shifts color. This isn't a design choice, it's a massive historical glitch. In 1854, construction was hijacked by a weird political cult. Then the Civil War broke out. Funding vanished. For 22 years, the monument was just an ugly, 150-foot stump rotting in the middle of D.C. When they finally restarted, the original quarry was closed. They had to use stone from a different state. The result, America's ultimate symbol of unity, is literally 2 different eras and 2 different stones forced together. It's not a monument to man. It's a monument to how long it takes us to agree on anything. Think lobbying is a modern D.C. scam. It actually started with a president hiding in a hotel. Ulysses S. Grant was drowning in job seeker. The White House was a circus. His escape, the smoke-filled lobby of D.C.'s Willard Hotel. Big mistake. They followed him, cornered him by the marble columns with their cigar breath. Grant popularized the term lobbyist out of pure annoyance. The insult became an industry. That hotel lobby became a shadow government. Deals over whiskey replaced democracy. A president hiding from politics accidentally built its dark underbelly. Oops. Next time you hear lobbyist, picture a 19th century guy with a cigar and zero shame. Washington, D.C. has 2 faces. One is marble, the other is mud. Elephant's plan screamed imperial grandeur, wide avenues, epic scale, total power move. But every stage needs a backstage. For the horses, the servant, the actual work. They crammed tiny alley dwellings back there, a hidden city behind the monuments. Front side, white marble for tourists. Backside, black workforce keeping it all running. Classic 2-tier design. The mall out front, a cramped, smoky kitchen out back. Now developers call those same alleys charming historic homes. They just erased the struggle. Washington always had 2 faces. one for the postcard, one it hoped you'd never notice. Segregation wasn't just separate water fountains. In D.C., it forged a secret empire. U Street, Black Broadway, a universe they built when shut out of downtown. Its crown jewel, a fake cave dripping with fake stalactites on U Street. The Bohemian Caverns, a jazz club built like a literal underground grotto. Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald, Duke Ellington, all played to pack black audiences inside that surreal cave. Own banks, own hotels, own clubs. They built what segregation tried to deny. The ultimate flex, their separate world was cooler than anything outside. They tried to erase them, so they built a legendary cave instead. Mic drop. Veterans asked for their paycheck. The government sent tanks. 1932, 20,000 broke WWI heroes invaded D.C. for their promised bonus. They built a city called the Bonus Army, right across from the Capitol. Plot twist, it wasn't chaos. They had streets, a post office, even a library. Hoover wanted them gone. MacArthur brought the tanks, the full flex. MacArthur and Patton rolled in, torched the empty shacks, tents, crates, baby photos. They survived mustard gas in France, got tear-gassed in D.C. by their own general. Nothing says land of the free like burning a library full of veterans. Lincoln's assassination wasn't a spy thriller. It was a security disaster. Plot twist, he was watching a comedy when it happened. The ultimate bad timing. Security budget, one guy, vibes only, no backup. That guard ditched his post, went to the bar next door, total power move. The door lock was broken. Management used a stick, a literal stick. Booth knew, he drilled a spy hole to check if Lincoln was home. The laughter, just lucky cover. So the shot was drowned out by comedy. History's biggest security fail, covered by a laugh track. History isn't written by victors. It's tripped over by the guy who couldn't fix a door. Mic drop.